press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Dear students, today we are going to discuss second PUC physics portion. To start with the topic electrostatics, that is a revision class 1. Right? In this topic we are going to discuss electric charge, electric force, electric field, electric potential, including capacitors. Right? Now, to start with question number 1. Two identical charged spheres suspended from a point by two massless strings of length L are initially at a distance d, right, very much less than s apart because of their mutual repulsion. The charges begin to leak from both the spheres at a constant rate. As a result, the spheres approach each other with a velocity v. Then v varies as a function of the distance x the spheres pass. Right. Now, here we have given two spheres suspended by means of strings, each having length L, right? Initially they are separated by a certain distance, right? Let this angle be theta. Now the charge starts leaking from the two spheres at the constant rate. This is charge Q and this is also charge Q. Now the repulsive force decreases and they start moving towards each other with velocity v. So at any instant of time, let x be the distance of separation between the two charges. Right. So this distance is x by 2. Now there are three forces acting on the charge. One, electrostatic force of repulsion. Now the second one, weight of the bob acting in downward direction, and now this is tension in the string, that is T. T is the tension in the string. Now this makes an angle theta with the vertical. Now here T can be resolved into two components, right? And one component sin theta balances the weight, and the other component T cos theta, it balances the force, right? T sin theta, so that balances the weight, that is force is equal to k q square by x square, where k is constant. Now T cos theta, it balances the weight, that is equal to mg. Now we have sin theta by cos theta, that is tan theta is equal to k q square by x square mg. And also from figure, tan theta is equal to x2 by L, that is equal to x by 2L. Now considering these two, we have q square is directly proportional to x cube, because all other quantities remain constant, only the thing q and x are changing, or q is proportional to x to the power of 3 by 2. Now since the charge is leaking with respect to time, differentiating that dq by dt, it is at constant rate, is directly proportional to, now differentiating this one, 3 by 2, right, x to the power of half, 3 by 2 into x to the power of half, right, into dx by dt, right. Now this dx by dt is v, that means this is constant is directly proportional to x to the power of half into v, that indicates that v is proportional to x to the power of minus 1. So the fourth option is the right option, x to the power of 1 by 2. So the fourth option is the right option. Now, two parallel infinite line charges with linear charge densities plus lambda coulomb per meter and minus lambda coulomb per meter are placed at a distance of 2r in free space. What is the electric field midway between the two line charges? Now, here we have given two infinite line distribution of charges. One is plus lambda, that is positive charge. Another one with minus lambda, that is negatively charged. Now, the distance of separation, right, between them is 2r. So the midpoint is at distance r from both these wires. And we know that an infinitely charged wire produces an electric field E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Here the direction of positive electric field, that is electric field due to positive charge, is directed away from the charge, and due to negative charge is directed towards the right negative charge. That means the two fields E1 and E2 at the midpoint are in the same direction. Therefore, the resultant field E is equal to E1 plus E2. Right? E is equal to, taking the magnitudes, it is lambda by 2 epsilon naught 2 pi epsilon naught r plus lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r, or this E is equal to, it comes out to be lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. So the option is the third one. Third one is the right option. Now question number 3. 2 point charges A and B having the charges plus q and minus q respectively are placed at a certain distance apart, and the force acting between them is F. If 25% of A is transferred to B, the force between the charges become. Now we have given two charges, say plus q and minus q, separated by a certain distance r. Now F be the force between them. Now the F is equal to K, that is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught K q square by r square. Let us take it as equation 1. Now the 25% of charge from A is transferred to B. See it here, right? Now the 25% charge is lost by A, means that becomes 3 by 4 q. Now when the 25% of positive charge is added to this minus q, right, then there is a loss of right 25% of charge. That becomes again 3 by 4 q separated by a distance r. Now let F dash is the force between them. Now that F dash is equal to, so K into 3 by 4 q whole square by r square. That F dash is equal to 9 by 16 into K q square by r square. So that F dash is equal to 9 by 16 times F. Right? Therefore, the option, right option is the second one. F dash is equal to 9F by 16. Now, question number 4. Two electric dipoles of moments P and 64P are placed in the opposite direction on a line at a distance of 25 centimeter. The field will be zero at a distance, at a point between the dipoles whose distance from the dipole of moment P is. Now question number 4, here we have given two dipoles, right, that is minus q plus q with dipole moment P, and another one minus q plus q with dipole moment 64P, right. Now these two are separated by a distance of 25 centimeter. Now say at a point A, at a distance r from the dipole of P, the electric intensity is 0, right. Electric intensity is 0. Now that this distance is 25 minus r centimeter, we need to find the value of r is equal to what, right. Now since this is a net electric field, E is equal to E1 plus E2 is equal to 0, that means electric field due to first dipole equal to electric field due to the second dipole. Now electric field due to an electric dipole at any point on the axis is, it is 2kp by r cube, this is r cube, this is equal to 2k. Now the p is equal to 64p by 25 minus r whole cube. So 2k get cancels here, p get cancels. Now this can be written as 1 by r cube is equal to 64 can be written as 4 to the power of 3 by 25 minus r whole to the power of cube. Now we have 1 by r is equal to, right, 4 by 25 minus r. On solving this one, r comes out to be 5 centimeter. Therefore, the right option is the first option, 5 centimeter. The fifth question, electric charges Q and Q minus 2Q are placed at the corners of an equilateral triangle ABC of a side L. The magnitude of electric dipole moment of the system is, right. Now we have three charges are placed at the corners of an equilateral triangle. So A, B, C with the length L. So this is minus 2Q, this is plus Q, and this is plus Q. Now here this AB acts as, right, a dipole of dipole moment P with plus Q minus Q, and CB acts as second dipole of dipole moment P with plus Q minus Q, and both P is equal to QL. Now electric dipole moment is a vector quantity. Now this angle theta is equal to 60 degree. Now this is the resultant electric dipole moment. The resultant electric dipole moment is equal to, right, this is electric dipole moment of first dipole plus electric dipole moment of the second dipole. Now if we take the magnitude, when two equal vectors are inclined at an angle of 60 degree, right, sorry, 60 degree, then the resultant is root 3 times the magnitude of either vector, that is root 3 times P, or PR is equal to square root 3 dipole moment is equal to QL. So our option is 3, root 3 QL. Now, A and B are 2 points on the axis and the perpendicular bisector respectively of an electric dipole. A and B are far away from the dipole and at equal distances from it. The fields at A and B are EA and EB. Then the relation between EA and EB. Now, we are having electric dipole minus Q, say plus Q. This is right perpendicular bisector. Say at distance R, the field is EB. Again at a distance say R, and here both are same, right? This is E. Now what is the relation between them? Now this EA is equal to, right, K 2 KP by R cube from minus Q to plus Q. EB is equal to the same direction, but it is in opposite direction, minus Kp by R cube, right? Negative sign. Therefore, EA is equal to minus 2 times EB. So that option is 3. Now question number 7, determine the ratio of Q1 by Q2 as the lines of force of 2-point charges are shown in figure, right? Now observe carefully the figure, right? Now number of lines from the charge Q1 is equal to, count all the lines are originated from the charge Q1, that is equal to 18 number of lines. Now number of lines from Q2, right, that is equal to, right, 3 only, not 3, 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number of lines is equal to 6. This is phi 1 flux due to Q1, this is phi 2 flux due to Q2. Now we have phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught, that indicates Q is directly proportional to phi. So Q1 by Q2 is equal to phi 1 by phi 2, that is equal to 18 by 6 is equal to 3. So the right option is the second one. Now the question number 8, a charge Q is fixed at a distance D in front of an infinite metal plate. The lines of force are represented by, right, here we have a metal plate here, right. Now this is a charge plus Q. Since there is a metal plate, that metal plate acts as equipotential surface. When a metal plate acts as equipotential surface, the lines must be normal to surface of metal sheet. Therefore, the option 1 gives the right answer. But option 4 is very much similar. Option 2 is very much similar, but you see the direction. Since Q is a positive charge, right? The electric lines are always directed away from the positive charge. But in the figure 2, the direction is towards the charge. Therefore, figure 2 is wrong, right? Figure 1 is right. Now question number 9. Right. In this figure, electric field lines in a certain regions are shown. The figure suggests that. Here, now we have electric field is equal to, right, electric lines per unit area. The number of lines is same, right, 3 lines. But at x and y area is more, at x and z area is more, at y area is less. Therefore, the electric field at x is equal to electric field at z, but less than electric field at y. Therefore, fourth one is the right option. Now question number 10. The electric field in a region is acting radially outward is given by E is equal to AR. A charge contained in sphere of radius A centered at the origin to the field is given by. Now we have given right, an electric field acting radially outwards is given by E is equal to A into R, right, where A is constant, R is a variable. A charge contained in the sphere of radius A centered at the origin will be. We need to find what is the charge of the sphere, right. Now we have integral phi dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught, or Q is equal to, right, epsilon naught into E into integral of ds, or Q is equal to E epsilon naught into integral of ds 4 pi r square, but here the radius is equal to A, 4 pi a square. Now Q is equal to, right, so this is function is E of R, where R is variable, and that is equal to, right, A into A epsilon naught into 4 pi a square. Therefore, that Q is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught A into AQ. So the right option is 2. Second one is the right option. Question number 11. In uniform electric field, the total flux associated with the given surfaces, R is the radius is, right. So in figure A, the inward flux is equal to outward flux, right, they are closed surfaces. Therefore, the phi A is equal to 0. In figure B, again this total flux inward is equal to total flux outward. Therefore, the total flux passing through it is 0. And C, right, the surface does not enclose charge. Therefore, right, flux C is equal to 0. Therefore, in the final answer is 1. The flux through A is 0, B is 0 and C is 0. Now, a semicircular disc of radius A is charged uniformly. A semicircular arc of radius A is charged uniformly and the charge per unit length is lambda. The electric field at the center is. Now, at the center of an arc in the line distribution, that is phi radius r, right. Now the electric field at the center is 2q sine phi by 2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into phi, right. Now this, since it is arc is semicircular, right, here the phi is equal to pi, right, and that radius we have given, right, radius r is equal to A, right. Now we have electric field E is equal to, right, this is 2q sine pi by 2, that means 4 pi epsilon naught, right, A square into pi. So that E is equal to, right, that lambda by 2 pi r is equal to, that can be written as lambda pi r by 2 pi epsilon naught, right, this is A square pi, that is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught A. So the option is the second one. Sorry, the first one is the option lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught A. Question number 13. A cone lies in a uniform electric field E as shown in the figure. The electric field entering the cone is. Here, base length is 2r and height is h. Therefore, area of triangle A is equal to half into base into height, right, that is equal to RH. Now we have flux passing through the surface is equal to electric field into area, that is equal to E into RH. So the option number 2 is the right option. The infinitely long charge sheets are placed as shown in the figure. The electric field at point P is. Now in the figure given, now the first plate has Z is equal to 3A, surface density of charge plus 2 sigma, and the second line has Z is equal to A and this is minus 2 sigma. Now the third plate has Z is equal to minus A with minus 2 sigma. Now this is the direction of electric field here, that is the Z is given, right, axis. Now there is a point P here. Now we know that the electric field, right, at any point due to an infinite charge sheet, E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught, and it is always directed away from positive charge perpendicular to the surface and directed towards the negative charge, and it is independent of the distance between the observation point and the charged plate, right? So therefore here the electric field due to the charges, it is directed away from the charge, right? E1. Now this is E2 directed towards the plate, and again E3 directed towards the third place. So E1, E2 and E3, right, are in the same direction. Now we have, right, E is equal to, right, E1 plus E2 plus E3, right, or that is equal to, this is 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus, right, 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught, right, or this is equal to, right, 2 gets cancelled, 3 sigma by epsilon naught. So the option is the third one, 3 sigma epsilon naught. We can take the direction K also. Fifteenth one, the potential at a point due to an electric dipole will be minimum and maximum when the angles between the two axes of the dipole and the line joining point to the dipole are respectively r. Now we know that at any point potential due to an electric dipole is given by V is equal to, right, K P cos theta by r square, right. Now if theta is equal to 180 degree, that field is minimum, that is equal to minus Kp by r square. If theta is equal to 0 degree, field is maximum, maximum field is equal to plus Kp by r square. Therefore the right option is 3. Now, question number 16. Tin electrons are equally spaced and fixed around a circle of radius r. The relative to V is equal to 0 at infinity. The electrostatic potential V and the electric field at the center C is. Now, 10 electrons are distributed around in a circle, say 10 electrons at the point P at the center. Now this electric field is a vector. So the resultant force acting on a charge at P is 0. Therefore electric field is equal to 0. But electric potential is a scalar. So the net potential at that point is due to the potential of all the 10 electrons at that point. Therefore net potential is not equal to 0. So the option is 2. V is not equal to 0, but E is equal to 0. Now, 2 thin wire rings, each having a radius r, are placed at a distance d apart with their axis coinciding. The charge on the two rings are plus q and minus q. The potential difference between the centers of the two rings is. Now here we have given two rings. With center C1, center C2, having radius, or this is also radius, or now these two are separated by a distance d apart. This distance is d. Therefore, these two distances are square root of r square plus d square. Now, the electric field at any point at the center of the ring is equal to k q by r, field at the center. Now, there are two electric fields at the center of each ring. One is C1 at E1 is due to this own ring, this charge is plus q. And again at this point, the field is minus due to charge minus q at the other ring. Now, the electric potential, not field, potential, electric potential on the axis is equal to k q by square root of r square plus d square. Now here there are two electric potentials. Here there are two electric potential. Now electric potential, say V1 at this point, V2 at this center. Now this V1 is equal to k q r minus k q by square root of r square plus d square. This is positive charge, this is negative charge. Now V2 at this point, right, now V2 at this point it is kq due to this one, kq due to r square, right, plus d square minus field due to this ring, that is kq by r, right. Therefore, we have V1 minus V2 is equal to kqr minus kq by square root of r square plus d square minus of kq by square root of r square plus d square minus kq by r, right. On simplifying, this potential difference V comes out to be q by 2 pi epsilon naught 1 by r minus 1 by square root of r square plus d square. Now, question number 18. An electron of mass m and charge E is accelerated from rest, right, through a potential difference V in vacuum. The final speed of acceleration will be. Now, when a charged particle, right, moves under a potential difference in an electric field, the kinetic energy acquired by the charge is equal to work done on the charge, that is equal to, right, charge into potential difference. Here, if m is the mass and v is the velocity, then the kinetic energy acquired by electron of mass m, right, is half mv square. That is equal to work done, that is E into V. So V square is equal to 2EV by m, or V is equal to square root of 2EV by m. So option 3 is the right option. Now question number 19. If potential in volt in a region is expressed as V of xyz is equal to 6xy plus y plus 2yz, the electric field in Newton per coulomb at points 1, 1, 1 is. Now we have given that the potential V of x comma y comma z is equal to 6xy minus y plus 2yz. We need to find electric field E is equal to what? At x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 1. We know that electric field, it is equal to minus delta V by delta x minus delta V by delta y minus delta V by, this is I cap, this is j cap, and this is k cap. So therefore E is equal to, differentiating this equation, this is minus 6yi minus 6x minus 1 plus 2z minus 2y, right, k cap, or E is equal to, at x is equal to, y is equal to, z is equal to 1, this is minus 6i minus 7j minus 2 k cap. So the given option is 4. Now question number 20. The diagrams below show the regions of equipotentials at a positive charge is moved from A to B in each diagram. Now the maximum work is required to move from Q, right, and all the options are given. Now we see here, in both the cases, the potential difference between points A and B, VB, in the figure A and B, that is 40 minus 20 is equal to 20 volt. Right. Now in the figure C and D, VA minus VB is equal to 30 minus 10 is equal to 20 volt. Now we have work done is equal to, right, potential difference into charge, that is work done is equal to 30 into Q joule in all cases. In all the 4 cases, work done W is equal to 30 into Q. Therefore the option is 2. In all the 4 cases, the work done is same. Right. Now some equipotential surface. So surfaces are shown in the figure. The magnitude and direction of electric field is. Now here, question number 21. Now in this figure we have this point at 10 volt. The next point is at 20 volt. Then this is 30 volt. This is 40 volt. And we know that the electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. So along positive x direction, the field, the potential is increasing, but in the direction of field, potential decreases. Therefore, the resultant field will be, right, along this direction. So making an angle, right, theta is equal to 120 degree, right. Here the point we have, this is at 10 centimeter, this is at 20 centimeter. Now we can take this distance. It is the perpendicular distance between the 2 points, right, on the equipotential surfaces, that we have sine theta is equal to sine 30 degree is equal to, right, dr by 10, or dr is equal to half into 10 centimeter, that is equal to 5 centimeter. Now that E is equal to dV by dr, that potential difference 20 minus 10 divided by 5, or E is equal to 2 volt per centimeter, in a direction making an angle 120 degree in anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, the right option is 1. Now, in the circuit shown, a potential difference of 60 volt is applied across AB. The potential difference between the point M and N is. Now we have given figure. Now, we need to find the potential difference between the 2 points, right, M and N, that is across the plates of capacitor C. Now, let us take this point as P and this point as Q. The potential difference across PQ is equal to 60 volt, and therefore potential difference across Mn is equal to potential difference across PQ is equal to 60 volt. So potential difference VAB is equal to VPQ is equal to 60 volt. Now here this 2C, C and 2C, they are in series with a potential difference of 60 volt applied in it. In series combination of capacitor, charge through each capacitor is same, but potential difference across each capacitor will be different. Now by taking effective EMF, 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by 2C plus 1 by C plus 1 by 2C, that is equal to 4 by 2C, that is equal to 2 by C, or Cs is equal to C by 2. Now the effective capacitance. Now the charge is equal to effective capacitance into potential difference across PQ. That Cs is equal to C by 2 into, right, potential difference is 60 volt, that is equal to 30 C volt. Now the potential difference V is equal to, it is charge by capacitance, V is equal to Q by C. So in 3 capacitor charge is same, that is 30 C. Now the potential capacitance between M and N, that is C, CC get cancels, that is equal to 30 volt is the potential difference. So the option is 4. Right. Now question number 23. A parallel plate air capacitor has a capacitance C. When it is half filled with dielectric K2, the percentage increase in the capacitance will be. Now see here, 23. Initially, this capacitor, say plate area A and distance D is air filled. So, in first case, the capacitance C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. Let us take it as equation 1. Now, the same capacitor with A and D, right? Now, the half of this one, it is filled with K is equal to 2 and it is A. Now, we have this plate area becomes A by 2. This plate area becomes A by 2. Now, the distance between the two plates is same. Now, this acts as a capacitor of capacitance C1. This acts as capacitor of capacitance C2. Now, in second case, the effective capacitance, right, CE is equal to C1 plus C2, because now C1 and C2 are in parallel, right? If area changes, D remains same, then the capacitors are in parallel. Right? If area remains same, D changes, then the capacitors are in series. It acts as a system of two capacitors. Now that CE is equal to, now here this capacitor, right, this is K is equal to 2 epsilon naught A by 2 by D, plus this is epsilon naught A by 2 by D, that CE is equal to, this is epsilon naught A by D plus epsilon naught A by 2D, that is equal to 3 epsilon naught A by D, that is equal to by 2D, that is equal to 3C by 2, effective capacitor. Now, the change in capacitance delta C is equal to CE minus C, that is equal to 3C by 2 minus C is equal to C by 2. Now, percentage change in capacitance is equal to, it is delta C into 100, that is equal to, right, not delta C, this is C by 2, is equal to delta C by C into 100, that is equal to delta C, C by 2C into 100, CC get cancelled, that is equal to 50%. So the option is 2. 2 is the right option. The question number 24. Now, a parallel plate capacitor of area A, plate separation D and capacitance C is filled with 3 different dielectric materials having dielectric constants K1, K2 and K3 as shown. If the single dielectric medium is to be used to have the same capacitance C in this capacitor, then the dielectric constant K is given by. Now we see it here. Now, this is K1, K2, K3. Now area here A by 2, A by 2. Distance here D by 2. This is D. Right. Now this is C1, C2, C3. Now we know that C1 is in parallel with C2. it is in series with C3. Now this is equivalent to, right. Now the plate area A, so distance D. Now we have used a dielectric medium of dielectric capacitance K. If a CE is the effective capacitance here, and that is equal to, right, capacitance of that single capacitor. Now to find the value of K, now we have 1 by CE is equal to 1 by C1 plus C2, they are in parallel, plus 1 by C3 in series, right, that is 1 by CE is equal to 1 by K1 epsilon naught A by D plus K2 epsilon naught A by D plus 1 by K3 epsilon naught A by 2D. Now D by K epsilon naught A is equal to D by epsilon naught A into K1 plus K2 plus 2D by K3 epsilon naught A, or 1 by K taking common is equal to 1 by K1 plus K2 plus 1 by, right, 2 K3. So the final answer is 2. Now, question number 25. Right. A capacitor of capacitance 2 microfarad is charged as shown in the diagram. When the switch is turned to the position 2, the percentage of energy stored in stored energy dissipated is. Now we have given the circuit. Now when S is connected to the 1.1, only say C1 is equal to 2 microfarad is charged and C2 is equal to 8 microfarad is uncharged. Therefore, energy stored, right, U is equal to half C1 into V square. Now, when these two are connected, when S is connected to number 2, now it is disconnected from the battery, but now it is connected to 2. Now C1 is a charged capacitor with potential V, and C2 is uncharged capacitor with initial potential 0. Now the charge flows from C1 to C2 until they acquire a common potential. Now in this case C1 and C2 are in parallel, right? Therefore now new energy U is equal to, this is U dash is equal to half C1 C2 by C1 plus C2 into V square. Therefore, U dash by U is equal to C2 by C1 plus C2, that is equal to 8 by 10. Now, percentage change in energy is equal to 8 by 10 into 100, that is equal to 80%. Now question number 26. A parallel plate condenser with plate area A and separation D is filled with two dielectric materials as shown in the given below. The dielectric constants are K1 and K2. The capacitance will be. Now, these two capacitors, C1 with K1 and C2 with K2, they have same plate area but different distances. Therefore, C1 and C2 are in series. Now that C1 is equal to, right, it is K1 epsilon naught A by D by 2 and C2 is equal to K2 epsilon naught A by D by 2. Now effective capacitance 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. If substitute it here, we will get Cs is equal to 2 epsilon naught A by D into K1 K2 by K1 plus K2. So the option is second one. Now question number 27. Two concentric thin metallic spheres of radii R1 and R2, R1 greater than R2, right, bear the charge Q1 and Q2 respectively. Then at radius R between R1 and R2 will be. Now here we have given two concentric spheres. Right. With outer sphere Q1, radius R1, inner sphere with charge Q2, right, radius R2. Now we need to find, right, potential V is equal to what? At a point P, at a distance R from the common center. Now here the potential at this point is the potential V1 due to the outer sphere and potential V2 due to inner sphere. The potential V1 due to outer sphere 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, it is Q1 by R1. Now V2. Now for the inner sphere, this point is outside the sphere. Therefore it is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. It is Q2 by R. Therefore V is equal to V1 plus V2 is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. It is Q1 by R1 plus Q2 by R. So the second one, the fourth one is the right option. Right. Or V is equal to, this is K, Q1 by R1 plus Q2 by R. Now the question number 28. The charge on outer sphere is Q and inner sphere is grounded. The charge Q on the inner sphere is Q dash. R2 is greater than R1. Now we have given the inner sphere and outer sphere. Charge on outer sphere is Q and the radius is R2. The radius of the inner sphere is R1 and the inner sphere is grounded. Therefore, inner sphere is grounded means the net potential is equal to 0. Let Q dash be the charge on the inner sphere. Now, for inner sphere, the potential V1 plus V2 is equal to 0. That is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught into Q dash by R1 plus Q by R2 is equal to 0. That means Q dash by R1 is equal to minus Q by R2, or Q dash is equal to minus R1 by R2 into Q. So the option is the third option. Now the question number 29. Now the radius of two charged metal spheres are 5 centimeter and 10 centimeter, both having same charge 70 millicoulomb. If they are connected by a wire, the quantity of charge transferred through the wire is. Now we have given radius of the first sphere R1 is equal to 5 centimeter. Radius of the second sphere R2 is equal to 10 centimeter. Now initially Q1 is equal to Q2 is equal to 75 millicoulomb. Right now, when the two spheres are connected by a wire, right, the charge will flow from one sphere to another sphere until they acquire a common potential. Now here we have, since this charge is directly proportional to C and C is directly proportional to R. Now the charge acquired on the each sphere is given by Q1 dash is equal to R1 by R1 plus R2 into Q1 plus Q2. Therefore, Q1 dash is equal to, this is 5 by 15 into 150, that is equal to, right, 50 millicoulomb of charge. Right. Now the charge transferred is 50 millicoulomb of charge. Now therefore the change in charge is equal to 75 minus 50, that is 25 millicoulomb. The option is 1. Now the question number 30. Two concentric spheres kept in air have radius r and r. They have similar charge and equal surface density sigma. The electric potential at their common center is. Again, we have two concentric spheres. One radius r with charge q1 and another one is radius capital R, say with charge q2. Now at the common center we need to find the potential. Both of them having similar charges, positive charges, but they have the same surface density of charge. Surface density of charge on the first sphere is equal to surface density of charge on the second sphere. Now at the center of the sphere, the net potential is equal to potential due to the two spheres. Now potential at the center is equal to, right, it is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by r1 plus 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by r. Q1, this is q1 this is Q2. Right. Now this is Vc is equal to, but we have sigma is equal to, it is Q1 by 4 pi, right, R square, that is equal to Q2 by 4 pi R square. Therefore, that potential at the center is this is sigma r by epsilon naught plus sigma small r by epsilon naught, or Vc is equal to, taking sigma by epsilon naught constant, it is r into r. The option 1 is the right answer. So that completes your electrostatics. In the next class, that is in revision 2, we will take current electricity.